Why, hello. I decided to learn pixel art in under a month. Now, you may be wondering, why? Well, because of Terraria, of course. So, the quote-unquote rules is just to make one pixel art drawing a day. So, one day one, I opened Blender, just to find out that they didn't have a pixel brush. Well, seems like we're just gonna have to go with some sketchy website. I ended up finding a not-so-sketchy, I think, website. I started off with the first drawing being one of the first bosses from Terraria, and it ended up looking like this wasn't as good as I hoped. I originally thought it looked good, but no more than a slight glance can you tell that it's not that good. So for day 2, looking back at my last drawing, I didn't really try when making the first drawing. So this time, I actually decided to try. I ended up drawing sands. This time I actually used reference drawing, and this is where I started to notice how your mistakes really show. I drew one pixel off in this drawing, so I had to shift everything, and there's still some slight differences in the drawings. So with this newfound knowledge, I was a little more prepared in the upcoming days. I actually didn't know what to draw for day 3 as I had already run out of ideas. There's only so many pixel games that I know, let alone give the slightest care about. I eventually decided to draw this guy named Mario. You may not know who he is, he's just from this small franchise. While drawing him though, I ran into an issue. Color. The colors of Mario were super goofy, so I really had to analyze his colors to figure this out. But this is about learning pixel art, not color, so enough of that. In the end, it was still an easy drawing because of how simplistic it was. But hopefully tomorrow I'll draw something more interesting. I ended up not drawing something more interesting. For day 4, I wanted to sleep, but this was more important than my sleep schedule. It's already busted anyways. For today, I wanted to try drawing the Eye of Cthulhu like from the first day. But this turned out to be really hard due to the amount of detail. I then wanted to draw a weapon from the same game called the Zenith, but that was just as hard. In the end, I decided to draw an NPC, and it was still hard to draw, since figuring out the smaller details was what made it difficult. Today was pretty chill overall though. This is actually day 6 instead of 5 because I was sick that day, so I owe 2 drawings for today. I drew some more Undertale characters for today since I didn't really know what to draw. Today actually ended up being kinda easy since the shape of the characters and details were easy to draw. Soon enough, we'll get into harder, more complicated drawings. For day 7, something interesting happened. I wanted to draw something cool for today, so I decided to draw another Terraria boss, King Slime. I locked in for this one, and I really leaned in to see the details from the reference image. And I just gotta say, this was easily my best drawing so far. This took a little over an hour, and it ended up looking like this. This one was super good because I actually wanted to try and actually get as accurate as possible. Obviously, there are some inaccuracies, but overall, day 7 was great. After yesterday, I was filled with confidence and wanted to draw another more complicated drawing. So for today, I wanted to draw the Eye of Cthulhu, for real this time. So after a little over an hour, I failed. It was taking too long to draw just the outline for the mouth without making any progress. After that fail, I tried to draw another boss named Skeletron. However, the outline looked horrible again, so I scrapped that drawing too. I felt pretty defeated after those drawings, and for day 8, 9, and 10, I just drew some more NPCs. I was still a little crushed from a few days ago. Today was nothing special, I just drew some simple pets from the game. But back to the boss problem. The issue is that these bosses are probably the simplest in design compared to the other ones. The thing is, I'm not good enough to draw the other ones yet, so I don't have any other bosses to draw. However, eventually I'm going to need to draw something good. Today was a bit of a change. I said that there were no simpler bosses to draw, but I forgot that the Eye of Cthulhu had a first phase where he looks different. Since I didn't have the part that made me fail the drawing last time, I felt that this would be easier, so I got to work and ended up making this. I am not kidding when I say I drew this. This is easily the best drawing I have made. This drawing took around 3 hours because of all the details. I think it's safe to say I am definitely improving on this, especially compared to the first drawing. After day 13, I didn't want to get too cocky, so I just drew some items. This was more so just filler before the last day. The last day. This has been a fun challenge, and it was nice to learn about how other people see art. I really enjoyed getting to draw some stuff from the game that I love. It's crazy to me how I was able to learn a little bit about pixel art and how to draw it just by looking at some videos and just figuring it out myself. However, this challenge felt more than just drawing silly characters from a game I like. It allowed me to see how much effort people really put into these drawings that don't get appreciated enough. This really let me grow in my drawing skills and knowledge, and it was as simple as just picking up my drawing tablet and pencil. There's always ways to learn things by yourself and see another outlook on things you enjoy. Nah, never mind. This challenge was like an 8.5 out of 10.